Hi guys, Mr. Sonnenberg here. Today we're going to be talking about environmental monitoring. This is for Science 9 students studying environmental chemistry. This is topic 5 in your textbook. What I want you to know, the specific outcome, is that you can describe and show how we can use biological monitoring to determine environmental quality. So the first thing we're going to talk about here is two types of pollutants and basically what pollution does. So basically what happens is any waste that enters the environment, we can say it's potentially harmful. So one, those wastes must either be broken down into non-polluting compounds, or we need to treat it to reduce the harmful risks it might have. So there's two types of pollutants that we're going to look at, or that we're going to talk about. One is persistent, and think of the word persistence. If I had a student and I was talking to another student trying to assist them with maybe some work or a question they may have, and I have another student coming going, Mr. Sonnenberg, Mr. Sonnenberg, Mr. Sonnenberg, and I say, yeah, just give me a second, please. I'm just working with this student. Mr. Sonnenberg, being very persistent and sticking around and continuing to cause an effect. I can't get the work done with the student because this one's distracting us. They're being very persistent. They won't stop. Now, same thing with persistent pollutants. What they do is they accumulate in the environment, and they take a long time to disappear. Okay, they just stick around. So our DDT sticks around in the environment through biomagnification. It just sticks in the environment for a long time. Non-persistent, on the other side of it, is though it can be easily broken down into non-polluting compounds, and it does this through a few things. One could be just naturally occurring chemical reactions that breaks it down, or it could be some form of bacterial action. Some of the bacteria actually work to do things like this and break down pollutants. So what happens along the way is that we have scientists that test they test the concentration of pollutants in our environment. So they test both these persistent and non-persistent just to see how we should be able to handle them, or what the best course of action is to handle these particular wastes and what effect they're going to have on the environment. So they actually test them for their concentration, and they want to know how will these affect living organisms in the environment. So when we monitor, though, our screencast is called environmental monitoring. Well, what is monitoring? And basically all that means is we're just going to keep track of something for a specific purpose. So I'm a golfer, and I'm probably going to golf today, and I'm going to monitor my score, right? And I'm going to monitor my swing. And the reason I'm going to do that is, one, I want to know what I shot at the end of the round, and two, I want to know where I made some mistakes and what it felt like, or what type of mistakes I made and how I can make corrections to that. So we monitor two types. We water many things, but we monitor water quality, and we do this through two ways. We do it, one, through chemical indicators, and we do it, secondly, through biological indicators. I'll just underline chemical and I'll underline biological. These indicators. So now, chemical indicators are going to be things like and I'll just draw an arrow. Things like your pH, maybe your dissolved oxygen, O2. Could be your temperature. Okay, or turbulence, or your turbidity, or if the water's turbid or not, and that's your clarity. So clarity may be one indicator, but clean water does not indicate the chemicals are present. So basically what happens is, if I look at something that's extremely clear, a lake that once maybe had vegetation, and I look and I say it's clear, I might not just say that this is a beautiful lake and it's amazing and it's so clean. I might look and say, maybe they have a high acidity. Why is there no vegetation? Why is there very few aquatic animals or species, organisms living in this particular ecosystem or this lake? Okay, so just because it's clear doesn't mean that there's chemicals present in it. There could be other reasons as well. But anyways, monitoring, we monitor using chemical indicators and biological indicators. So I was talking about this in class, but the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. So what happens is, here's some pollution, right? As the population on Earth increases, we also see an increase in the amount of waste that enters the environment. So scientists, environmentalists, they're working diligently at trying to monitor the harmful effects? Well, what happened is we see that we have these currents, okay, in the oceans, and so in the North Pacific here we have these currents. So what happens is water leads from watersheds. So we lead from stream or watershed or runoff. We lead into lakes, rivers, or streams and rivers and lakes. But eventually we lead to the ocean. And what happened is there's a series of currents. And so all this garbage and pollution and such is making its way, and it's forming in one area and it's accumulating. And so we call this the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. And if you just take a look at these pictures, like this picture right here, okay, look at some of the harmful effects. Well, we have this in the ocean. You can see the depth of it if you look up here, but also look how it's affecting some of the aquatic animals, right? Like things trapped around. Look at this turtle shell. It's just awful, and things that were found inside this bird. So these are the effects that pollution can have. And so next time maybe we think about throwing something on the ground, we should think twice about it, because somehow, some ways, this pollution ends up in places we didn't expect it to. And these are some of the harmful effects it can have eventually. So I just thought that was interesting and something to share with you. So anyways, that is environmental monitoring, guys. So just remember, biological and chemical indicators are used to control both persistent and non-persistent, or to understand persistent and non-persistent pollutants. Ones that stay in the environment for a long time, and others that are broken down easily, that enter and they exit the environment quickly. Anyways, hope this has helped. Hope you've taken notes, and we'll see you on the next screencast. Okay, bye.